Huh, that's weird. Okay, here, this should work.
Should I just put my screenshot over there?
Yeah, just go ahead and upload your screenshot as soon as you have it, and we can see it.
Okay.
Okay, here, there's mine. Okay, I'll borrow this.
All right.
Put a post-it over here. Okay, on myself. Okay, this is me.
Sorry, I attached mine, but it seems too big. How do I rescale
Oh,
it?
just click on the edge and you can pull the corners in. There you go. Okay, all right. I see Ara's result. Okay, cool. Okay, so we can see Ara's result. We can see Shaylin's result. Just waiting for some of the other folks to complete it. Do whatever you can to finish within the next 2 minutes, and then we'll continue. Okay. All right. All right, Shaylin. Okay, going in with the win. Okay, interesting. Okay, cool. Cool. And Ara, just go ahead and put a label. Oh, okay. No, you already have your name on it. So, okay, that makes it actually pretty easy. Okay, cool. Good, good, good. Get rid of this random post-it. Okay, while we're doing this, maybe I can appoint a secretary today. Nadine, would you kindly be our secretary for today? Yeah. I'll direct you on how to navigate through this new format. It's going to be a little bit different, but I think what you did yesterday, actually for the conversion chapter, was actually pretty spot on. So we can maybe we can actually apply some of the same techniques. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And there was a pretty clever person the other day that put a frame on this.
It was Vera, actually.
It was Vera. Oh, I think I figured out how to do
Yeah.
it. Okay, I figured out how to build a frame. Okay, great. Okay, okay. And this will be our. Okay, we'll call this our management inbox. Okay. Okay, cool. And since we're talking about leadership here, I'll gonna go ahead and get this thing rolling first. Okay, if you haven't finished yet, then please stop for the moment. We're going to go ahead and begin. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what traits we might all have in common. Okay, so Shaylin, what is your low attribute? What's your high attribute?
Okay, from my side, like if we see from the scoring, right? My high attribute is more into the hyper rational.
Okay,
It's the first highest, and then the second one would be the avoider. Okay, and then like
interesting.
the rest, like the number 3, 4, 5 is like, yeah, somehow like apa is the same, has the same amount.
Okay.
But for
Is
the
that
lower, it's actually, yeah, the lowest is victim, and then the second lowest here is pleaser, actually.
okay? Okay, got it. Does it surprise you that you're an avoider? It seems like you, as far as I can remember, you're very vigilant about following up, and that seems like the opposite of avoiding.
I think it kind of applies in my personal kind of life, not really work related. Because
Ah,
this is like in the context of like apa both, right? It's either work, personal, or whatever like
okay,
that, right? So,
okay.
but I think like for the avoider, it applies in my personal life at some point.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Let's go to Ara. Ara, what is your high and low?
Okay, my highest is hyperachiever. I think makes sense because basically, as I think you mentioned yesterday, I got turned on with challenge
Right.
rather than backed up, right?
Hmm.
And then the lowest is it's pretty also shocking. I mean, shocking in a way that I got zero
Okay.
because I see people like usually like lowest is 3, 2. I got
Wow.
zero in victim and avoider. So basically, I'm a type of person that indeed never blame myself playing victim. Like even though some because I always believe that there are 360-degree angles, right? So I
Right.
always tend to see 360 angles if something went wrong, So
Okay.
I won't blame others, I won't blame myself, but it's more on apa ya professional perspective lah.
Okay.
And
All
then
right. Very good.
avoider is that I have almost never avoid difficult conversations. I
Okay.
like to be just straightforward and like, okay, this is wrong. You need to improve and so on. Even though people are, you see on like P2P, like, oh yeah, you need to change your approach because people might be intimidated. So that's also because of, I think, my traits on like, I don't avoid difficult conversation.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Yep. Super low. If I zoom in a little bit, I can see it's not exactly zero. It's 0.6,
Yeah,
but
0.6. Yeah.
pretty much as low as it can get. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a similar low and high as Ara, so hyperachiever on the top side and victim really low on the bottom side. And I think that is matched so far by Shaylin, me, and Ara, right? Our highs and lows are the same. Although I score slightly higher on the victim and avoider side than Ara, but slightly lower than Shaylin. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Bila. Bila, your results just came in. You're a number 10 and 10. What's your high and low?
My high, the highest one is stickler as
Bring your
well as.
microphone up.
Oh yeah. My highest one is stickler as well as controller,
Okay.
and the lowest one is victim and hypervigilant. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So this is just I think one of the very first parts of good leadership and good team management. I think it's said that in order to lead well, you need to know yourself, and you should probably know the people around you as well. And Shaylin, after you demonstrated this test to me, I thought it's actually pretty good because you can kind of look at yourself and wonder, okay, a lot of times as a team manager, you might be your own worst enemy. Okay. And if you don't know, and this part I want everyone to realize nobody, not even managers, not even leaders, are perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you need to know what you're not good at. And then you need to also know who around you might be able to reinforce your negative points. Okay. So the point of having this exercise is to understand a little bit more about where your own weaknesses might be and how those weaknesses might affect your judgment and your ability to manage other people. Okay, I think that's pretty fundamental. So that's a little bit of a brainstorming, group building, team building exercise. Okay, so I know some of you haven't finished, but when you finish, please put up your results. I think it'll be helpful for you to find allies, but also identify in your own management style where you might be lacking. Okay, nobody's perfect. This is just a way to reflect, and if you can manage a particular attribute, try to manage it. If you can't, then maybe delegate it or avoid using that particular thing. Just count it as a weakness and find a way around it by developing your strengths. Okay. All right. Very good. Let's go over here for a moment. So I'd like everybody to kind of check out the management inbox. Okay. There's the frame that's right next to where we just did our brainstorming. And Nadine, if you'll be so helpful, can you bring some of the new topics from our discussion board over to this management inbox? I'll sound off by asking every person if they have a particular case that they want to bring to the team management discussion, and we'll begin with that. Shaylin, do you have any cases on the team management discussion that you would like to bring up here?
I think this week not really, because I just in terms of team management, I just started to like coaching or like mentoring like the everytime interns, right? So
Okay.
So far not yet, see, for myself.
Okay, so remember, when you don't have anything, that can mean that you're not detecting a potential management issue or that there's really no issues, right? Now, Shaylin, which one do you think it actually is? Is it that you're not detecting the issue or that everything is smooth sailing?
It's somewhere in between both, see.
Okay.
Because if it's like for the new people, it might be like nothing detected yet, but for like the existing like team members, I might not detect
Okay.
like any. Yeah.
Okay, this is kind of a very important point. I would say at the very beginning of a new employee's career and journey into the company should be a point when managers are the most vigilant, right? And the reason for that is because if the culture isn't set right in the very beginning, then it takes a lot of work to undo bad habits. But if the culture is set right in the very beginning, then each day afterwards, it gets just better and better and better, okay? So the timing of when to apply team management energy is also very, I think, important in that context. Okay, but just keep that in mind, yeah, Shaylin. So let's go over to next to Bila. Bila, do you have any team management issues that you'd like to discuss today?
Actually, I'm not sure. I just read all of this conversation, and then I haven't have one in mind.
Okay,
So yeah.
let's continue. Let's continue then. Kyla, do you have any team management issues that you'd like to discuss?
Came from last week since I cannot attend the interim of meetings, so it's kind of the same, sir.
Okay, all right, cool,
before.
cool. Let's go to Ara. Ara, what's your team management issue this week?
Partnership funnel.
Okay, okay.
Planning on the partnership funnel. Wait, no one mentioned it, like Nadine or Tyla?
Apparently not.
Okay. So you guys don't, ini pretty visible sih on how you use the resources in partnership funnel is not wise at all. And the things that I've seen friction came from the BI part, that they've just, you see like in the room, but not really doing anything in the meetings. And then you call out all BI team to like jam with you in the jam board. No one did that. I think that's part of the team management issue, right?
So
they're like the verdict whether they're just not proactive or they're not aware on what are the roles should be.
Okay.
But that's not effective at all.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and put that on our coded discussion about a lack of discovery, okay? There's a lack of discovery in an important area, and then let's try to address that and understand where the root cause is. Okay, Nadine, over on your side, do you see anything that you would like to discuss?
Basically, maybe the same with Kyla, yeah.
Okay.
The one I already attached in the mirror.
Okay, all right, fantastic. And then Bella, any issues on your side that you would like to raise this week?
None for this week, sir.
Okay, all right. Once again, anybody who doesn't have any team management issues, either you are brilliant at team management or you're not discovering what is a potential team management issue, okay? There is probably only one or the other in this particular case. And we might need to talk about that today also, Ara. So if we can't trust our own discovery skills, then what do we actually do to actually get that feedback to know if our teams are actually being well led or not? Okay, okay, that's pretty much it then. Ara, when you have your particular issue, let's go ahead and just bring that over, and you can drop it into the management inbox. Okay, we'll scour that and take a look at those things. Okay, first, let me zoom in onto. Actually, you know what? This is actually a really good point. Let's zoom in on Lillis's card first, okay? So that's on the upper left corner of the management inbox. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it. And this was actually one of Lillis's questions, okay? Her question was, how do you actually transfer discovery skills? So let's say you have a team with 24 people in it, and it seems like nobody is actually discovering where the key problems are, or they're not raising the issue. So what could be the way to start transferring those particular ideas and that particular skill. Okay, let's break down my explanation to Lilith. Okay, and this is where I need your feedback, and everyone can chip in how they see fit. Okay, I see it as essentially three parts. The first part is, does the team actually have measurement tools? Okay, do they have actually tools that are monitoring what's going on, and are they watching those tools? If they don't have those tools, or the tools are not very effective, then it should be no surprise that nobody can discover anything. It's like being on a ship without a compass, right? How are you supposed to discover anything if there's no compass? Or it's more like being on a ship with no telescope. Actually, that's a better analogy. So being on a ship with no telescope, no binoculars, then of course you can't discover anything. So that's one. Does your team actually have the tools to discover? Two is, does your team actually understand the physics of what's going on? And I know not all of us enjoy studying physics, or maybe some of us haven't studied physics before, but it's important to know what are the underlying forces at work that are causing or resulting in certain things to happen. Okay, so let's say, for example, the past week, travel has opened up in Bali. So according to just normal understanding of economics, then that means that we should be getting more bookings. So then the question is, are we getting more bookings? Okay, so that's kind of like this idea of, do you understand the underlying forces at work here? All right, third part is the motivation. Does the team actually feel motivated enough to care and discover and look around for potential opportunities or threats? Or is it a little bit like a city with too much garbage everywhere, where yes, people know that there's garbage, they can obviously see it, they know how it gets there, but nobody really lifts a finger to actually do anything. Now, that's my breakdown of framework for discovery. So let's have everyone start doing this instead. Okay, normally we have a vocal chat, but that's single threaded. Just go ahead and put a post-it on whether you agree or whether you have a different perspective, or how you think that discovery can be actually better implemented. Okay, so go ahead, click on a post-it note, like over here. It's the little, it's the fourth little tab there, and you can drop a note there and just start writing. Put your name at the top, and what are your thoughts? Okay, about transferring discovery skills. Okay. All right. In the meantime, while everyone writes their thoughts, please take a moment to just write. I'll go to Ara first for commentary on this while everyone puts in their own thoughts for now. All right. Ara, do you have any thoughts on your side?
Thoughts-nya, you mean like for specifically apa, sir?
For how to fix a discovery situation. How does a team
Oh,
manager
yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they get their team to discover better? And,
Jadi,
yeah.
oke, gini gengs, kalau dibahas Proverbs, Indonesian Proverbs tuh ada yang bilang gini, Allah bisa karena biasa. I don't know what's the English, sir, but it means that people can do because they forced to get used to do.
We call it culture.
Yeah, culture. Yeah, culture. Right now itu there's so many people lebih banyak standard effects because the junior always rely on the senior. The
Okay.
junior always rely on the leader.
Okay.
Leader gonna do that for me. Leader gonna tell that, so I'm just gonna execute. Enggak dong,
Right.
that's not supposed to be like that. No matter how young you are in the company, your involvement of actually ideating and innovating is the same portions with the leader and the senior. So I think that setting their expectations, one, is very key. Second, creating a culture, creating a best practice, challenging your junior as often as possible. Because like in my case, the best practice that I do, for example, the latest projects that we're having in employee kan Asia Exchange too. It's not that me or Shailene cannot do and tell what is the framework for the projects, but I'd like to train Bila to be like very good on what exactly creating a framework in terms of partnership that is not university relation. So I think this is very new for Bila, right? And she might be at some point, mungkin in the beginning also like wondering on like how should I create this framework of the projects and so on. But I tend to trust, I tend to trust on Bila. And anyway, we do cross check. Jadi bukannya kita trust terus habis itu kita biarin. Enggak juga, we do cross check. Makanya aku bilang Bila, please present, Jing and me will give feedback, and then once it's already valid dan strong, will deliver to the rest of the committee of Asia Exchange Projects, misalkan kayak gitu. So istilahnya ya bukan ya delegate sih ya, maksudnya really delegate expected result. Jadi bukan delegate yang jadi delegationsnya itu mandatory, bukan delegations yang ya nanti kalau ada ide kasih tahu ya, nggak kayak gitu. You have to come up with idea, you have to solve these problems. Regardless anything, I want you to come up with something. Itu yang biasanya the best practice that I do. Gitu.
Okay, all right.
Nggak ngerti, I don't know Kak, I can't really do. You have to, gimana caranya, learn, study, seeking guidance, anything lah, professional network, you have to gitu. Dan itu ya itu sih sir, I think culture in employee.
So, all right, if I can paraphrase, that sounds like what you have to do as a team manager sometimes is you have to empower others with real responsibility so that they are in a position where they actually have an actual effect and not have a condition where they become overly dependent upon you as a team manager to think for them, to do things for them, and to have the explanations for them, right? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Okay, all right. That's a very interesting concept. Here, let me bring everybody's attention really quickly to the two triangles just above Lillis's leadership development cycle, okay? And I want to just briefly explain a condition that I see oftentimes in first-time leaders, and this is something you need to kind of take into account, okay? A lot of times as a first-time leader, you became a leader because you were really good at doing your job. You were an excellent specialist, very competent, very achieved, and so that's why you were invited or promoted to become a leader. So then you have a tendency then to say, all right, if something isn't working, I'm going to go back and become a specialist and do more work, right? And when you do that, you actually become a very ineffective leader. You become kind of like the triangle on the right side. The entire team now is depending upon you as a leader, and they are being supported by you. Over time, this results in what I call leadership implosion. You will never be able to ever keep up. Your team gets larger and larger and larger. The responsibilities to you seem to grow and grow and grow, and it never actually gets to a point where you flow as a leader, okay? But where you want to be is you want to have your team support you. You want to delegate as much as possible responsibilities and actual results to your team so that they can support you as a leader. Ideally, as a good leader, you should not be too busy. Your job is to actually go discover and prioritize. That is your most important job. If you find yourself actually doing most of the operational day-to-day work or doing the problem solving or whatnot, it's probably because you have not delegated well, and that's why the responsibilities are coming back to you. So please avoid a leadership phenomenon like the triangle on the right and go more towards a leadership phenomenon like a leadership on the left, okay? It doesn't mean you sit on top of everybody and you just boss everybody around. That's not the idea either, but it should be where your team is supporting you, not that you are supporting the team, because nobody is that strong to support the entire team, okay? All right, so in terms of work and everything, that I think should be the case. Does anybody have any questions or feedback on that? If you do, please put some Post-it notes. I expect there to be some questions about that because that could be a controversial idea. So if you do have any questions, feel free to put a Post-it note there. Okay, in the meantime, let's go ahead, all right, and examine some of the thoughts that everybody put down here. So Nadine put down some thoughts. What do you think of this?
Wait, what is Nadine? Okay. Managing expectations towards team members itself also matters. Measure capability and experiences, and also I would agree with motivation. Yeah, pretty much the same with what I said, right? So ini tuh yang sering aku lihat in the company itu ketika kita, especially untuk ideating, discovery, itu tuh nggak mandatory gitu loh, sir. So most of leaders always like, nanti kalau ada ide kasih tahu ya. Nanti kalau
right.
Anu ya bilang ya gitu. Nggak gitu, harus in charge. You have to solve this. You have to find a solution. You have to innovate. Dan di sini kan, of course, dengan yang disambungin, connecting with what Nadine said regarding measure capability and experiences, of course.
Right.
Tapi juga, for me, I won't limit sih, because people are surprising. Sometimes we thought a person capability is this much. Meanwhile, when we empower them to give like a lot of empower to give more responsibility and so on, turn out capability-nya here.
All right.
So I think itu part of considerations, tapi don't let it stop you for delegating. That's what I see.
Right.
Because above capability and experience, motivations is most important, right? If
Okay.
person capability in here, but their motivation is high, I
Right.
believe that could increase along the way. So
Correct.
that's
But I guess if a person isn't motivated, then there's not much we can do then in that particular case, right?
yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
So that's actually a good takeaway, everybody, as well. According to the DHOC guideline, let me delegate this to somebody. Shailin, would you kindly copy and paste DHOC's framework for understanding how to hire and how to promote onto this discussion? So according to that framework, you should not try too hard with people who have a lack of motivation, okay? Because if people have a lack of motivation, that will just render your efforts in trying to coach them not very effective. That goes into this cycle again, right? The backward cycle where you're on the bottom and the team is being supported by you. So at the very least, if somebody has the motivation, then that means you can actually work with them and develop that capacity. Okay, so that's actually pretty good insight there. And okay, let's go over to Kyla. Kyla, okay, tell us a little bit about your or actually let's Ara read Kyla's statement and then give her feedback. All right, your side.
Okay, wait, Kayla, mana Kayla?
Oh, you can upvote these. Oh wow, cool! I didn't know you could do that. Hey,
Okay, I
please
think I can
upvote if you think something is actually a really good high priority. Okay, well, how do you
Yeah.
create the upvote button now?
I think I can understand what Kak Lilis has experienced, and in my point of view, it's also the matter of lacking experiences. Jadi maksudnya lacking experiences siapa, Kayla?
Kalau menurut aku pribadi, kenapa Kak Lilis bisa punya issue transfer the discovering skills itu karena she can actually discover things, tapi her team cannot discover well gitu.
Berarti timnya yang lacking experience.
Iya, jadi sebenarnya ini lebih mirip sama yang Kak Ara udah elaborasi sebelumnya sih, ternyata yang
Enggak, beda dong. Aku nggak bilang experience important loh.
sorry,
In this case, makanya ini capability, understanding, apa experience. Karena experience itu very low, the lowest ya.
Yep. Oke, kayaknya atasnya agak nggak benar elaborasinya. But if you can read the rest of them about discovering the window.
Okay, wait. To expand the window of discovery, we can actually emphasize on the practice or getting used to do it. Okay, that part is true. The more we practice, the more we face it, the more we understand it to discover. I agree after the words to expand the window. The previous part enggak. And in my point of view, it's also the matter of lacking experience. Imagine if you have interns that is still at school that is not experienced at all doing revenue management, then you're not going to delegate anything then in that case. So that's why I don't agree, because I believe people, I trust people not based on their experience, but it based on their motivations mostly. So a lot of cases see that happen in employee juga, like, oh, I've never did this before, EES, I've never did one-on-one before, or I never did apa segala macam. It's okay, but do you want to or not? That's like the main question, right? And then like if they said I want but I don't know how, nah itu baru I tend to guide a person like that, like I don't know how but I really want, rather than a person that I can but I don't want. So different kan? I prefer that type first gitu. Jadi experiences itu wouldn't be part of my consideration sih. More on the maybe capability tadi, betul. Itu bakalan jadi one of the thing ya.
Okay. Lilith asked a pretty interesting question. Isn't it like the process, since we at the very beginning said the more you do it, the more you actually come to understand and you get that. Isn't that experience in a way?
Yeah, I think so. But I also get Lily's point. Maybe like it's more onto the next level and some sort of difficult point. Maybe like another level, like she is maybe not just about best practices on best practice or daily basis, but maybe delegating bigger things maybe. But for me, basically, I would encourage to not afraid to delegate, no matter how big is the responsibility, you know.
Right.
Kalau kalian ngomongin fail, ada kok kasus-kasus fail di employee funnel. Contohnya Terakhir
many?
Lalita kalau nggak salah.
Yeah.
Lalita itu dia data leakage kasusnya. Karena kita delegate
Speaking about Sandy,
ya. So
we
it
had her speak
happened.
to the Minister of Tourism, and then she.
Nah, oh yeah, that too. Kita ada
Yeah.
meeting with Sandiaga Uno, right? And
Hmm.
then we agree Lalita to speak up. Tapi by the time dia dipanggil Pak Sandi, itu kan rare moment kan. But then dia ternyata, I don't know, signal issue and something. But again, you see that failures doesn't stop me urging to like delegates to people, right? Or to like appointing, to
Yeah.
empower others.
Yeah.
So, jangan takut salah deh, jangan takut gagal. It's okay. It's
Yes.
totally fine. And in fact, that will empower them even more. Like
In fact-
if you delegate somebody
Mhm.
and then they fail, itu justru malah developmentnya bakalan double,
That's
triple. Karena they tend to like understand totally that okay, so this is type of mistake that I shouldn't do again next time. And this is key. And they started to understand that the problems, situations is how important that is to the affecting and impacting the team and also
That's
the
right.
company. So
That's
yeah, I think that's the takeaway.
Just to add to what Ara said, if you're a team manager and you fail that way, that is the correct way to fail, right? Doing the other person's job is the incorrect way to fail because you're trying to get better at delegation, which is ultimately as a team manager, that's what you're doing. We already know you're good at like doing the job itself. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I'd rather everyone fail on, oh, I delegated the wrong person. I couldn't, and get better at selecting, get better at nurturing, get better at detecting in future cases. That's the only way we become better managers. Yes, over to Nadine.
Okay, this is just a hypothetical question sih, Kak Ara, for relate to your statement, right? On encouraging and empower by delegating. So what would you agree? Like for example, if the Asia Exchange delegated to Irma, for example.
Gimana? Apa? Sorry.
Ya kan tadi delegate by giving the responsibilities and also delegating kan it's a form of encouraging sebetulnya kan, empower gitu, especially when we believe this person have motivations. And then in this case, would you actually agree if for example the real case gitu, Asia Actions, it will be for the conversion stage itself we delegate to Irma, for example?
Oh enggak agree. Karena apa? Karena we already have problems with Asia Exchange previously. We failed in terms of service to give a good. Terus mau diulangi. Udah tahu kita hubungannya jelek terus mau diulangi lagi kan enggak. Kan lihat level urgency. Urgency sama importance beda. Kayak ngomong sama Sandiaga Uno itu importance, bukan urgency. Tapi memperbaiki hubungan dengan Asia Exchange itu urgency. Jadi mendelegasikan orang, delegating to the correct person is also a skill. It's not about not trusting Irma, bukan, tapi melihat urgensinya, what type of service that we need to deliver to Asia Exchange, itu yang menjadi konsiderasi.
But kan belum ada failures dari Irma actually. Maksudnya Irma tuh kan in term of understanding theoretically aja belum, tapi in the practical there is no failures coming from Irma. Dan previous experience yang we face understanding theoretically aja sih on negotiation basically. Tapi failures in term of reservation itu tactical and maksudnya technical reservation itu belum ada gitu loh. Dan what happened from Asia Exchange in the past juga kan it's not Irma's failure juga gitu.
Nah, coba Mr. Jing.
I think okay, I have a framework for team management, everybody, and it actually is very much related to transformation framework. Okay, it's just 3 stages. It's, are you selecting the right person? Are you developing the right person? And are you maintaining the right person? Okay, so let's categorize this particular problem. It's probably, Nadine, since we're all used to frameworks, right? This is probably a stage 1 problem, the selection. Okay, so let's understand, why are we selecting somebody to a particular task? If Irma has actually shown that she's capable in doing, let's say, operational work, right? Work that's pretty steady. That's one type of selection. But if it's for Asia Exchange, we have to ask ourselves, is this person capable of adapting to a new situation with an uncertain context, with no previous training? fairly well. And in Irma's case, I think we know it's probably not, right? So then to select her and empower her to do that it's possible, but there's just amount of risk, okay? And what I see is this happens all the time in any team management situation, everybody. Sometimes you don't have the perfect person to actually do it, okay? Rarely do we get the magical white knight that can solve all our problems and we just go, white knight, please take care of this and slay the dragon. There has to be some sort of like tuning that you have to do in this particular case. If you have another team member that is more adept to handling, I think, new circumstances that are unstructured, that are uncertain, that they need to kind of improvise, yeah, then that would be a stronger delegate in that particular situation. But if it's just about, like, let's say, doing things that are somewhat routine and predictable and within a certain range, then that is also the correct thing. Nadine, we work in persuasion negotiation a lot. It's very similar to pattern matching, right? Except this way, you, instead of trying to sell a product or service, you try and connect a problem to the right person. So let me give it over to Aras to see if there's any better improved answer that Ara can provide.
Pretty much same ya. Cuman additional part from my side, calculated risk itu yang juga harus menjadi pertimbangan. I said don't stop bukan berarti terus kayak kamu. Makanya delegation itu skill I said, because like it is required you to delegate to the correct person. Kalau kamu mau delegate ke siapa aja, itu berarti delegation skill kamu juga nggak bagus kalau kamu asal delegate-nya. Jadi delegation itu ada strateginya juga. Strateginya apa? Salah satunya itu mapping resource pertama. Other than mapping resource, yang kedua calculated risk. Seberapa besar responsible tadi of a task that needs to be delegated? How fast a person needs to deliver? Dan itu kan nanti faster dan tidaknya timingnya kan related to timeline-nya dia, timeline-nya kita, timeline-nya client, and so on, right? So in that sense, itu sih calculated risk need to also considered, you know, gitu.
Okay. All right. We're going to need to move on to the next question, and let's I think we have let's double check everybody. Does everyone have a better understanding now of how to lend discovery capabilities to a team member? If you do, give me a thumbs up. If you're still not sure, give me a thumbs down, okay? Just wait a second for everyone's feedback on that so we know how well this discussion went. Don't be afraid to be the first to vote. Just kind of vote however you see it. Yes, over to Ara.
Sorry, sir. I just I checked on Bila's answer.
Oh, yeah?
And I think I like it so much. Why?
Okay. All right. Let's go to Bila's answer.
I think this is type of spirit that I liked of all of the junior to do. Not a followers, but a person that truly discover. Di sini Bila kan bilang, I think when we're transferring discovery skill, we still need to give certain amount of freedom and instructions to adapt with the tools or discovery. It would also help develop the discovery. This is best practice that been doing in employee funnel. Like we do have guidelines, we do have tools, existing tools, tapi that's not limiting, you know, because the tools that currently we have anyway, maybe it's not the best one, right? Maybe by the time there will be a better tools that can be used along the way. So that spirit, you know, that you like to, as a leader, as a senior, needs to tell your delegates that, yeah, I delegate you, tapi juga jangan too controlling, because like that's where the creativity start, you know, like kalau semuanya diarahin ke guideline, you have to follow guideline, this is the guideline, ya okay, but again nanti discovery-nya jadi nggak maksimum lagi gitu sih. But of course, kalau kamu kasih freedom, the cost is that you need to also supervise at secara rajin dan berkala gitu, constantly.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
All right, for everybody here, I'll teach you guys a quick voting system, okay? So that it goes a bit faster. You can click on the card that you like the most and add your emojicon onto it, right? So click on it, you'll see a happy face symbol. If you agree and you think that's the best method, then just go ahead and upvote it and choose to adopt it in your future engagements. Okay, while everybody votes on that, let's go ahead real quickly to the next topic, which was brought up by Kyla. We have about 15 minutes to finish our discussion on Kyla's topic, okay? So Kyla's talking about the root of the problem is that we have low performance, and Kyla feels that she's not as assertive as she needs to be, and she's worried that she might be crossing boundaries and offending people, okay? So the friction is most of the team members are on the same age with me, and they often see me as their workmate. Some of them told me that it's easy to ignore or not really take me seriously because I'm like in the same age as them. I'm told I'm comfortable to talk to, and I'll always sympathize with their positions. How can I be more assertive and hold people accountable for their work? Okay, I think this is actually a very high quality issue. Let's dive into it. So please, everybody, take a few minutes to put your post-it note onto this particular situation and give your thoughts about how Kyla should actually address this particular issue. Okay, and after a minute, we will review these with our looking after the framework. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kyla. Yeah, that's what I thought. This would improve our ability to discover and also empower more discovery, right? Empower more people to also generate good opinions, like Bila just did, right? So that we don't have me blocking good ideas here. All right. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and paste another framework that is pretty useful. The Eisenhower matrix. I'll go ahead and screenshot that and bring it into our world here. Okay. Okay, well, while everyone's posting this up, let's go to Ara for analysis. Tell us, Ara, what's your analysis in this? Is this a common issue that you see young team managers will be facing? And if so, then what wisdom would you like to impart upon them?
Which part, sir?
The idea of this kind of how to gain more authority, I guess, and be authoritative, I think, is the crux of the matter, yeah?
Gain more authority as a leader.
Well, yeah, it seems like Kyla's issue here is that she's hesitant to cross people's boundaries. There's a performance issue, but she doesn't want to, I guess, step on toes and make people feel uncomfortable. And from that, then there's this issue, I think, of mutual of respecting her as actually a manager rather than a teammate, and then kind of then balancing her positive feeling about being a person that is sympathetic.
Ini yang di putih kan ya, sir? Like Kyla's leadership development from that.
Yeah, that particular thing, yep.
Oke, bentar. Wah, kalau ini sorry Kyla, kontradiktif banget sama aku yang bagian I'm easily worried that I have crossed boundaries or offend anyone because I am highly offensive.
But Ara gets actually pretty high satisfaction scores from her team, to be honest, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's actually something I find to be pretty interesting.
I think so, Kyla. Ini fun fact tentang aku ya. Kalau kamu visiting employee funnel P2P, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I lowered the lowest kalau misalkan ngomongin do I not offend. Karena mostly aku yang type of person yang bakalan put the hammer down, kita bilangnya. Jadi aku yang bakal bilang what's going on, what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, who is responsible. Tapi I think generally in each of team harus ada yang begitu sih. Kalau everyone is okay, fine, you're doing great, ya nanti nggak ada yang jadi inspector yang neutrals, yang bagus lah. So kalau khusus ke Kyla, karena itu poin yang dibawa, salah satu advice aku adalah kalau to the extreme mungkin belum bisa Kyla untuk directly. Bentar, Kyla lebih comfortable verbal atau written communication?
Written, Kak.
Written. Oke. In that case ya udah berarti professional aja, secara profesional tolak ukur apa yang what's going wrong, what needs to be done based on your thoughts, tulis aja. Ditulis, dirangkai. I think kan kalau written kan bakalan lebih gampang dalam artian nggak direct kan. Jadi kalau misalkan dijawab sama rekan kerjanya, written masih bisa mikir lagi gitu istilahnya kan, nggak langsung on the spot. Nggak apa-apa, tulis aja. Tapi itu harus dilawan ya. Ini tadi related sama tes yang kita di awal tadi. Jadi ini kan avoider untuk avoiding difficult conversation. Seharusnya jangan jadi avoider, tetap harus disampaikan. So that's one thing. Kemudian the next partnya friction with the members are on the same age with me or open. Some of them told me it's an easy negotiate my warning because of that something. Oke, ini yang bagian tadi how to gain authority. Aku mau nanya dulu. So far in this case, Kayla ngapain? Friction yang pertama.
Actually, I have tried to give the warnings through Slack chat, Kak. Jadi maksudnya lebih
Ah.
gampang. Jadi apa namanya? Kalau mungkin nanti aku bisa kasih attachment-nya. Jadi kayak udah nulis room for improvement-nya apa, terus kayak nge-mention orang-orangnya this is what you need to fix dan lain-lain. Tapi I think I failed karena ketika akhirnya I told them to kind of like please give a reaction or message or reply to this thread. Some of them are ignoring me, so.
Tapi kalau ignoring, are you sure it's because of you that is being young and so on, or it's because of them that they have bad tolerance?
That one I'm not sure, Kak, but about the age itu based on obrolan sih sebenarnya. Ketika udah
ini makanya aku I want to slowly analyze because I don't want to have a direct diagnose, takutnya salah. Because me myself even as a senior in BV juga sering di-ignore kok, so it's nothing related to, maksudnya I believe it's people's time management. Sometimes aku sendiri juga mengakui sometimes Shailene text me and it required sometimes a while for me to get back. Jadi bukan karena Shailene junior aku, kemudian aku nggak mau. Enggak, that's again, don't take things too personally sih kalau menurut aku. Give warning, fine, bagus, okay. It seems like you have been delaying kayak Shailene ngejar-kejar aja nggak apa-apa. So it seems like you have been giving me a slow response this past few days or whatever.
Label.
Can I expected you to get back to me by this gitu. Else I will talk to your team or your leaders to get it fixed as soon as possible. Jadi gitu. Jadi ya jangan take everything personally. Maksudnya wah apa karena aku masih muda, apa karena aku part time, apa karena aku low perform, enggak sih. Emang manusia tuh kompleks aja. Kayak you will never know. So that's why you required to check what exactly happening. Bahkan misalkan nih Kayla ngechat aku, Nadine, Shailene, semuanya slow respon. There is a possibility 3 of us has different reasoning. Aku misalkan karena aku sibuk banget. Nadine karena Nadine sakit. Shailene karena Shailene mungkin yang tadi kayak low priority lah buat balas Kayla. Jadi each person might have different reasoning kan, dan itu yang we have to be careful. Jangan too hard on ourselves. Kalau ini kan jatuhnya too hard on ourselves karena kamu berpikir bahwa I'm still young. I mean maybe that's why people ignore. Enggak, it's because maybe bisa aja karena orangnya sibuk atau karena orangnya jelek di follow up. Contohnya yang recently happen, aku sama Vidi younger than me. Tapi dia suka telat balas aku. Ya bukan karena aku tuh age kan nggak related kan. Mungkin Vidi memang lagi sibuk and so on. So double check untuk deeper analysis to have the best treatment lah to the situation. Itu buat authority. Terus I'm being told that I'm comfortable to talk to and that I would always sympathize their decisions. Nah ini juga ini kayaknya positif aja sih. Cuman heads up aja, bukan heads up sih. Notes buat berhati-hati di masa depan adalah ketika person comfortable to talk to you, it doesn't mean that you necessarily keep on telling them what they want to hear, but you need to tell them what they need to hear. Itu bedanya. Jadi that's where I tend to care to the person I talk to. For example, I talk to Nadine gitu ya. Aku ngerti kok Nadine mau dengar like I said, for example. Misal ini contoh ya, bukan Nadine atau siapapun, ini contoh aja. Nadine would prefer hear me saying that, Nadine, you're doing a great job. I know that the work has been hard on you. I know that you have a lot of things on your plate. Misalkan gitu ya. Tapi what if that's actually not what Nadine's need, you know? Like, karena dengan aku bilang gitu, Nadine nanti bakalan jadi, okay, I'm gonna be relaxed then, it's fine, totally is under control and it's acceptable to everyone. Meanwhile, enggak. Jadi, I'm a type of person that will still tell Nadine that, Nadine, you've been doing it wrong. And I think, dan solutif, you need to come with the solutions juga. Jadi jangan nyalain orang tanpa solusi. Jadi ketika kita kasih feedbacknya itu bukan melulu tentang, oh you're lacking in here, but you also need to guide them on what needs to be done. What can be done to improve the performance, what can be done to dia direct the person to become better lah gitu. So kalau aku gitu, I come with the kata orang racun with the antidotes at the same time. So racun karena mungkin people get hurt with my words, tapi I come with the antidotes also, with the solutions on what needs to be done in that case gitu. So itu I think can also be a notes. Aku nggak tahu apakah Kayla sudah latihan itu apa belum. Cuman ngelihat yang kedua ini kan positif nih, people comfortable talking to you. But you need to also control. Jangan sympathize terus, tapi juga you need to balance. You know, like they need your help kan, Kayla. So that's where you can help actually. Cara
Excellent.
pengemasan orang beda-beda. Aku beda, Kayla beda. Mungkin aku lebih high tone, mungkin aku lebih straightforward. Mungkin Kayla bisa lebih bagus daripada aku malah. Tapi poinnya harus sama. Poinnya harus not necessarily telling people what they want to hear, but what they need and what is the solutions. Gitu.
Excellent, excellent. Aura, I've read a few of the comments coming from Lilith Nadine, and I think also Shaylin. It's a lot of times it's about refocusing back to the purpose and what you're there to do. I like if everybody can take a quick look up at the top. There's a masterclass link, and I pointed Kyla to perhaps watch it. It's by this really award-winning coach. His name is Gino Arima. I forgot his last name, but anyhow, Gino led a lot of women's basketball teams to win national championships here in the United States. And he talks about how to actually ask people for maximum effort. Now, think about it this way. If you're a player on a team and your coach tells you you're doing fine and you lose the championship, you lose all your games, then that's not a very good coach. That's not why you went to try to follow this person, okay? And you don't get that kind of, you don't get the team that you deserve either. So I think in this particular case, the idea of focusing on what is the purpose that this person is here? Are they here to positively transform? Do they want to inspire to light? Do you want to create innovations? Well, I'm just telling you what you need to hear in order to actually do that. And I'm not here to confuse you by giving you false sympathy. And I think we call that ruinous empathy in some ways, right? Or that kind of empathy that just gives people kind of like this coddling feeling and they're not sure whether they're doing right or wrong. Let's go to Aura and have her examine some of these quotes, everyone. Before we go to that, I need a thumbs up or thumbs down on whether to continue this format for the next session. If you like this format and you'd like to continue using this format, give me a thumbs up. If you prefer the old format, give me a thumbs down. Okay, so everyone likes it. All right. The other thing we want to do is this. Aura, one of the main points of this is not for everybody to listen to us lecture, right? That's not the point. It's for us to also inspect. And for us to inspect, we also need to hear your comments. We need to hear your thoughts because that allows us to know what is your current approach to leadership. So at the same time as Zara is talking, if you have any questions or you don't agree or you have like, hey, that's not what I would do, please leave a comment there so that we can address it. And we can also then target our conversation to be more specific to what you are experiencing. Okay. All right. I'll let you continue and briefly go over the other cards. We have a minute.
Okay. Oh wait, Tasha. Bila tadi udah. Yang di-upload baru itu. Bentar, wait. 3. Sama ini 3. Wait, let me see which one to prioritize.
Ah, very good. That's a good.
I think you need a different person now. Ini responding to Kayla ya yang di-upload.
Yes.
New question only come from Nadine, right? Bener nggak?
Iya, betul.
Oke, berarti ya udah. Ini kalau poin-poin aku agree sih with all you guys that put Lilis, Nadine, dan Bila. Kalau Bila dia ngomong persona, I think you need a different persona when you interact with them. Jadi perlu friendly, tapi perlu juga strict. Oke, itu harus balance bagus. Terus yang bagian si Nadine, I think you should be less pleaser, ask yourself what matter most. Ya mungkin bahasanya kalau aku lebih ke stay professional gitu. Jadi professional in terms ketika satu hal melenceng dan kamu ngerasa you need to say something difficult but you don't feel like nggak bisa say it because professionally that's wrong. Professional that needs to be addressed gitu. Mungkin itu aku ya sama benar. Company goals people feel you could also use the negotiation. Okay, Lilis Set what's your purpose of gathering team and make sure they understand the roles to support the purpose of your groups, benefits that they will get when they achieve the expected result. Ya, ini juga important. That's why setting expectation tadi di awal siapa yang bilang? Nadine juga ya. Important. Jadi gathering here, roles-nya apa, kenapa you're here, kenapa sih Bella hari ini di-invite, kenapa nggak Bayu Azra, kenapa nggak yang lain. Nah, itu harus mulai paham gitu. Jadi roles-nya apa, ngapain di sini, itu benar-benar harus ngerti. Kemudian follow up-nya apa, bukan hanya attendee, bukan hanya involvement aja yang dibutuhkan. Involvement dalam artian attend meeting, kemudian itu cukup, enggak. Ada specific reasoning on why you guys are here gitu. Itu needs to understand dulu gitu. Ya, setuju. Terus, I think the next question that we have, do we have to, this is the only question, sir, that we have.
That's it. That's all that we have time for. So we covered these two questions and we got quite a lot of engagement out of everyone today. Also, I think there's one other thing that's actually pretty important here. Kyla, you did actually take that test. And if you look at the test, I think Nadine also saw that, right? You have a high amount of pleaser as a saboteur in sort of the management approach. So this is why also that test can be actually quite good, because if you see that you have maybe too much of that, and that might actually be inhibiting from it might be blocking yourself. Okay, so that gives you a coordination movement from everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope this can be now applied to future team management situations. If you guys move up to the top, I have some framework here that I'm putting into a frame just above. Of course, there's Gino's class. I put a link there if you want to watch it. Then if you encounter this issue that Kyla has had, Gino explains it very, very well in a very short masterclass, okay? There's also this framework about sort of like the classification of our subjects, right? Is the team management issue around selecting the right member, is around developing the right member, or is around maintaining your team members, okay? So I think in the future we can use that 3-step framework for how to classify our discussion. Then all right, come up with specific guidelines around selection, come up with specific guidelines around developing, come up with guidelines around maintenance, and that will give more structure and content. Nadine, in the meantime, please move these. Oh, Ara, one last thing. Who would you like to promote to be the most successful answer in Kyla's question so that we can post it on the guideline?
Oh, among tadi Bila, Nadine, and Lilis?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I need to go back again. Bener semua sih, sir, but if, I mean, maybe Nadine bisa bikin poin aja. First, persona is important, balance of friendly and also strict people. Second, less people pleaser, so you need to do not avoid difficult conversation. This is aku give summary ya, nanti Nadine can write it down. Second, less people pleaser in a way that do not avoid difficult conversations to get the result delivered.
Okay.
The third, Lilis tadi itu make sure that you understand the purpose of one team and then your roles in it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think that can be done.
Okay, Nadine, please put that up in the discussion on Coda so that way we have a record of it. And thank you everyone for coming. And I'll post this video in the Slack channel. Goodbye. Have a nice day.